You were not born tired. You were trained to stay busy until tired felt normal. Somewhere along the way, silence began to feel dangerous. An empty hour began to feel like failure. A slow morning began to feel like weakness. You learned to measure your worth by how much you could carry, how fast you could respond, how many things you could finish before your body finally gave out. And because the world praised you for it, you called it discipline. But beneath the calendar, beneath the notifications, beneath the little rush you feel when someone says, "You're always working so hard," there is something quieter happening, something more honest. You are not only busy because you have things to do, you are busy because stopping would make you feel what you have been avoiding. This is the part most people never admit. They say they are ambitious. They say they are focused. They say they are building something. And sometimes that is true. But there is another kind of busyness. A busyness that does not build a life but protects a wound. A busyness that keeps the hands moving so the heart does not have to speak. A busyness that fills every corner of the day because an empty corner might reveal the truth. The truth that you are lonely. The truth that you are afraid you are behind. The truth that even after doing so much, you still do not feel enough. So you open another tab, you check another message, you start another task. You make yourself useful because useful feels safer than vulnerable. Useful gives you a role. Useful gives you a reason to exist without having to ask why existence feels so heavy. This is the hidden addiction. Not laziness, not weakness, not lack of intelligence. The addiction to motion, the addiction to proving, the addiction to never being alone with the self you have abandoned. A man can spend his whole life running and never ask what is chasing him. A woman can fill her days with work, errands, goals, routines, favors, calls, plans, and still feel a strange emptiness at night when the room becomes quiet and there is no one left to impress. That emptiness is not your enemy. It is the doorway, but the busy mind hates doorways. It prefers noise. Noise gives it control. Noise gives it something to manage. Noise keeps the old identity alive, because the old identity says, "I am valuable when I am needed." The new identity says, "I am valuable before I perform." That sentence may feel uncomfortable in your body. Good. Let it press against you. Let it expose the lie. You do not need another task. You need to stop worshiping the version of yourself that only feels worthy when exhausted. Do you recognize the pattern? Do you feel the heavy pull of it? The tug that pulls you back every time you try to step away from the treadmill of action? It's not because you lack discipline. It's not because you're lazy. It's because you have been conditioned over and over again to believe that your worth is found in motion. Your value is measured by how much you can do, how much you can achieve, and how fast you can do it. This is the lie you've been taught to live by. But it's not the truth. The truth is that doing more doesn't make you more. It only makes you more tired, more disconnected, more lost in the noise. What if I told you that the more you fill your life with distractions, the less you experience your life at all? You see, the mind loves to fill the gaps. It does not want to sit in silence. Silence brings awareness, awareness to the things you've been avoiding. And so, the busyness is not a tool for productivity. It is a tool for avoidance. You keep yourself busy because deep down, you are terrified of what happens when you stop. When you stop, the shadows come out. The fear of inadequacy. The fear of not being enough, the fear of being irrelevant. All those things you push aside in the rush of a busy day rise to the surface when you dare to slow down. Carl Jung spoke of the shadow, the parts of ourselves we hide because we are ashamed, afraid, or simply unwilling to face them. The shadow contains everything you don't like about yourself. It's the person you refuse to become. And yet, the more you refuse it, the more it controls you. You think you're avoiding it by staying busy, but in reality, you're feeding it. Every moment you try to outrun yourself with another email, another project, another task, you are reinforcing the idea that something about you is not good enough to simply be. The truth is that you are already enough. But you must be willing to face the silence, to embrace the discomfort of stillness, to confront the parts of yourself you have been running from. And this is where the change begins. The moment you stop and look inward, you will realize that you have been distracted from your own power. You have been so busy trying to prove your worth to others, you forgot to prove it to yourself. This is not about doing less. It's about doing what matters, with intention, and with the understanding that your worth does not come from how much you do, but from who you are. If you dare to stop, to sit in the silence and face the uncomfortable truths within you, you will begin to shed the layers of false beliefs you have been carrying. you will start to uncover the truth of your existence, that you are worthy, not because of what you achieve, but because you exist. Now, that's the paradox. The more you do, the more disconnected you become. The less you do, the more you become. It sounds counterintuitive, doesn't it? To find your true self, you must let go of the need to constantly prove it. You must release the heavy chains of busyness that bind you to a life of endless striving, only to find that the real freedom lies in letting go of the need to be constantly moving. Think about it. Every great achievement in history began with stillness. Every revolution, every breakthrough, every work of art. It was born out of a space of silence, of contemplation, of introspection. The greatest minds, from Carl Jung to Napoleon Hill, knew that the key to transformation is not in doing more, but in doing less. Jung understood that in order to achieve individuation, the process of becoming the true self, one must face the shadow, the hidden parts of themselves, the fear, the doubts, the insecurities, the unresolved pain. These are the things that make you run, that make you busy, but until you face them, you cannot transcend them. And so, the first step in breaking free from the addiction to busyness is to stop. Stop everything. No more distractions, no more projects, no more tasks. Just sit in the silence. Let the discomfort rise. Let the fear come up. Let the doubt swirl around you. You are not weak for feeling it. You are human. And in that silence, you will begin to hear the truth. The truth that you are not the sum of your tasks. You are not your to-do list. You are not defined by your productivity. You are defined by something deeper, something more powerful. You are defined by your essence, by your soul, by the power within you that does not need to prove anything to anyone. Napoleon Hill, in his landmark book Think and Grow Rich, emphasized the power of desire, of focused intention, but he also understood that the mind needs to be disciplined and focused, not scattered and distracted. When you are always busy, your energy is spread thin. You cannot direct it with precision. But when you stop, you are able to gather your power and focus it where it truly matters. Imagine what could happen if you stopped trying to fill every moment with busy work. Imagine what could happen if you finally allowed yourself to rest, to breathe, to think deeply about what you truly want in life and why you are doing all the things you are doing. Your potential, your true power, is found in that space between action and stillness. It is found in the balance. When you learn to stop, you will find clarity. And in that clarity, you will find your true purpose, your true path, and the strength to walk it with confidence. So, what will it be? Will you continue to fill your days with empty busyness, or will you finally take a step back and look at your life with new eyes? The moment you choose to stop, the moment you choose to face your fears and confront your own shadow is the moment you begin to transform. You see, the mind is a powerful thing, but it is often hijacked by distractions. The moment you decide to stop, to step out of the cycle of motion, you will be met with resistance. The fear will rise. The anxiety will whisper that you are wasting time, that you are falling behind, that you need to be doing more. This is the voice of your old identity, the one that is still tied to the illusion of worth through action, through constant doing. But I urge you to ignore that voice. That voice does not speak the truth. It speaks only the language of your conditioning. When you choose stillness, when you decide to honor the silence, you are stepping into a new realm of possibility. In that space, you will reconnect with your inner self. You will start to hear your own thoughts clearly, to recognize your true desires, not the desires shaped by external pressures or the need for validation. You will find that your soul is not defined by how much you can achieve, but by how deeply you can live. Now I want you to picture something. Imagine you are standing at a crossroads. On one side is the path of endless busyness, the familiar route. It is filled with tasks, obligations, and the constant hum of activity. It feels safe because you know it, even though it wears you down. You've been on this path for so long, you don't know who you are without it. On the other side is the path of stillness. It is unknown, and it may feel uncomfortable at first. There are no promises of constant validation or external success. There are no deadlines, no expectations from others, but there is something else waiting for you there, something deeper. There is peace. There is clarity. There is freedom. To walk this path, you must leave behind the old identity. You must leave behind the need to prove yourself, to be busy, to be needed. This path asks you to step into the unknown, to trust that the world will not fall apart if you stop for a moment. It asks you to believe that you are enough, exactly as you are, without the endless striving. The question is not whether this new path is the right one. The question is whether you are ready to let go of the old one. Are you ready to stop? Are you ready to break free from the prison of your own mind? In order to make that shift, you must trust in your inner power. You must trust that the quiet moments will bring you more insight, more creativity, more inspiration than any amount of frantic busyness ever will. And here lies the key to your transformation. The shift begins when you stop asking, "What do I need to do next?" and start asking, "Who do I need to be right now?" When you choose to stop, you give yourself permission to be, to simply exist, to recognize that your worth is not tied to your achievements or your productivity. You are worthy because you are alive. You are worthy because you exist in this moment. You are worthy because you are, without needing to do anything to prove it. Now, let that truth settle in your mind. Let it sink deep into your bones. You do not have to keep running. You do not have to keep proving. You simply have to be. And in that space of being, you will discover a power far greater than any external achievement. You will discover the power of your true self, the power that does not need to be busy to be worthy. Now, let me show you how this shift in identity works on a deeper level. You see, when you choose stillness, when you consciously step away from the clamor of tasks and distractions, you begin to tap into something far more powerful than the mind's constant chatter. You begin to awaken a deeper form of intelligence, a higher consciousness that is always present, waiting for you to listen. But this intelligence does not speak in the language of rush, urgency, or pressure. It speaks softly, with patience, with clarity. It whispers the truths you've been too busy to hear. It tells you what is truly important. It helps you reconnect with your deepest desires, your authentic path, and your highest purpose. It does not care about your to-do list. It does not measure your worth by how much you accomplish. It measures your worth by how deeply you live in alignment with your true self. This is where the transformation begins. You are not just making a decision to do less. You are deciding to be more. You are deciding to step into the fullness of your existence, not as a machine designed to check off boxes, but as a human being capable of profound presence, deep understanding, and intentional creation. Napoleon Hill taught that whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. But that belief, that vision, must come from a place of stillness. It must come from a place of deep knowing, not from frantic doing. In fact, it is often in moments of stillness that the most powerful breakthroughs occur. Think about all the great inventions, the visionary ideas, the masterpieces. Many of them came to their creators not in the hustle of daily life, but in the moments of quiet. When the mind is still, the higher creative faculties are free to operate. You begin to see solutions where others see only obstacles. You begin to hear the whispers of your own genius, your own inner wisdom. But this requires courage. It requires the courage to let go of the familiar, the courage to leave behind the need for constant validation, the courage to trust in yourself, to trust that the answers will come, not through more action, but through more listening. This is where the greats, the visionaries, and the leaders have always thrived. Carl Jung knew this when he spoke of individuation, the process of becoming who you truly are, beyond the masks you wear and the roles you play. It is in that deep self-awareness that true power emerges. The question you must ask yourself now is simple. What if I stopped fighting my own silence? What if I stopped filling the gaps in my life with noise and distractions and allowed myself to simply be present with who I truly am? What if I embraced the stillness as a tool, not a threat? This is the moment when the old version of you dies. The version of you that was addicted to busyness. The version of you that believed you were only worthy when you were busy. That version has no place in the life you are about to create. You are stepping into a new chapter now. You are no longer the person who fills their time with meaningless tasks. You are no longer the person who stays busy just to avoid being alone with their thoughts. You are no longer the person who feels the need to prove themselves to anyone, least of all to the world. You are the person who understands the power of pause. You are the person who listens deeply to the rhythm of your own life. You are the person who knows that real success, real fulfillment, is not found in the noise. It is found in the silence. And this is where it begins. So now that you've chosen this new path, the path of stillness, of being, what happens next? The transformation, while subtle at first, will begin to permeate every aspect of your life. You will notice shifts in the way you perceive time. No longer will it feel like there is never enough of it. No longer will you feel as though you are constantly racing against the clock, fighting to finish, to accomplish, to prove. You will start to feel the expansiveness of time. Time will no longer be something to manage. It will become something to savor. In stillness, you will discover a profound truth. You are not bound by time. Time is simply a construct, a linear illusion that the mind has created to keep you in a state of perpetual motion. But in the quiet, you will begin to see time for what it truly is. Just another tool, one that can either enslave you or set you free, depending on how you choose to use it. As you embrace this new way of being, you will also begin to notice how much you've been missing. The small moments, the ones that used to pass unnoticed in the rush of your daily grind, will now become treasures. You will find beauty in the pause. You will feel the subtle energy that surrounds you, the vibrations of life that you were too busy to hear before. And with this new awareness, something else will begin to happen. Your energy will shift. You will no longer feel depleted by the endless tasks you once took on. Instead, you will feel recharged, restored, because your energy is now being used in alignment with your true purpose, not in the pursuit of external validation. You will feel more alive, more vibrant, and more in tune with yourself than you ever have before. Now here is the challenge that comes next, to take this newfound stillness and begin to integrate it into your everyday life. This is where the real magic happens. You see, it's easy to be still when you are alone, when you are disconnected from the world. But the true test is how you carry this stillness into the chaos of the world around you. This is where your new identity will be forged. The old version of you would have reacted to stress, to pressure, to conflict, by doing more, by becoming busier. But the new version of you, the one that understands the power of being, will respond differently. You will face challenges with calmness. You will navigate difficulties with grace. You will make decisions from a place of clarity, not panic. You will become someone who, no matter what is happening externally, remains anchored in the stillness of their own being. You will become someone who is not controlled by the noise, by the demands, or by the expectations of others. You will be someone who chooses to respond from a place of power, not reaction. This, my friend, is where your true potential lies. It is not in the frantic chase, in the endless movement. It is in the stillness, in the pause, in the deep knowing of who you are when you stop pretending to be everything to everyone. And so, I will leave you with this. Do not be afraid of the silence. Do not fear the stillness. For it is only in the quiet that you will find the deepest truths about yourself. It is in the pause that you will reconnect with your power, with your true purpose, and with the life you were always meant to live. Now it is time for you to make a choice. Will you continue to run, to hide, to fill every moment with distractions? Or will you choose to step into the silence, to embrace the stillness, and to reclaim the power that has always been yours? This is your moment. This is your invitation. Step forward. You are already enough.